Hi everyone, meteorologist Ed Valley here, taking a look at the long range here. We got some interesting weather coming up here. We got a drier week ahead, no doubt about it. A very weak system moving through the central plains here today. It's not putting down much. But over the weekend, we did get a decent amount of precipitation, anywhere from a tenth to three quarters of an inch, some places over 1 inch in parts of Kentucky. And then this system here overnight and this morning, parts of Nebraska did see anywhere from about a tenth to almost one half of an inch of rainfall. And if you pull up more North Platte, you notice it's not all rainfall. Let me show you here. As of this morning, it's snowing in a lot of central and western Nebraska. We've seen anywhere from about a tenth to almost 4 tenths of precip. So it wouldn't shock me here if we've actually seen accumulating snowfall in parts of central and western Nebraska here. You head east over towards Lincoln. I just find this interesting. That's why I'm showing it to you. As this pulls up, obviously being further east, that's going to influence the pattern a little bit more. So I'm going to wait for that to load. And again, just quite a bit of moisture here over the last 15 to 18 hours here with this system moving in. So let me load that up. There it goes. And you can see over in eastern Nebraska, it's actually raining in Lincoln. Temperatures just warm enough in the mid 30s. So depends on where you're at. A little bit of snow west, a little bit of rain east. And if you're looking kind of in the middle at Grand Island, you can see there snow in Grand Island as well. So a very interesting situation here with accumulating snow, not out of the ordinary here in November, but definitely a nice Halloween surprise for some. Now, moving to the east, you're going to notice here that we did see all that rain out in the Ohio Valley with that very annoyingly slow-moving storm, if you remember Saturday. So it has been a slow improvement. But the good news is the improvement's here, and it's going to largely stick around. So you see the rain and snow here today in the plains. That's going to diminish. And the big reason for that is this big area of cooler weather. You see these lines. I'm not going to draw them all, but you get the idea. It's shifting everything to the south. Okay, very interesting type of setup here. But you notice Tuesday, Wednesday, see how this thing's kind of just like hanging around the ag belt and the precip's going around the periphery. That will lead to some precip in the southern plains Tuesday into Wednesday. So that is something to keep in mind. Totals on that, generally speaking, look like a tenth to a half an inch, but still that's meaningful rain for winter wheat country where they really do need it. For the rest of the region, though, it's a dry, high-pressure filled week, and I'm going right through Friday here. I haven't seen much of anything outside of a sprinkle for Saturday, but I'm going right through Sunday. Nothing. This is Monday. This is Tuesday of next week. Maybe Monday, Tuesday next week, the prairies and the northern belt get something here along a cold front. But you look at the 10-day precip here, and boy, not a whole heck of a lot. Okay, so it's a dry and cold kind of 7 to 10 days ahead. The WPC maps here, the model blend through the 8th, nothing. Everything's to the south. And even on this precip map, you can see what I was discussing there with kind of this upper level low shunting everything southward, right? So definitely going to be a cold, but it's going to be a dry week for the most part. How cold? Well, let me zoom in here on the central U.S. and we'll get to talking about it. Today, it's 30s and 40s, north, 50s south. As we head into Tuesday, you'll notice we see that cold really start to spread southward. It's getting down into the delta at times here. Wednesday, it gets a little further south, just widespread 30s and 40s, pretty much region-wide here for Wednesday. But Wednesday's the peak. By Thursday, we're starting to warm it up in the plains. Friday, there you go. You can see that warm-up is really spreading east. And by Sunday, you notice we're back into the 50s and 60s for much of the ag belt. My goodness, having trouble speaking this morning. And really right through the 10th of the month, we are going to trend a little cooler by that time. But after this cold shot, I think we got a period of much warmer weather comparatively coming up here later this week and especially into next week. Okay, so looking at the long range pattern, the next 14 days of temperature look like this. When you add every day together, it's below normal for most of the belt. The exception is the Northwest, where you're a little bit warmer. Now, the pattern itself is up and down. Right now, we're kind of getting the perfect storm, if you will, of high heights in Western North America and near Greenland. That's pushing this cold into the central and eastern U.S. But watch what happens by day 7. It's replaced with a big upper low off of Alaska, big upper low near Greenland. That's a warm pattern. And by day 10, you see there's some blocking up in southeast Canada, but it's not impressive. Now, by day 15, we're starting to see blocking return to the north. And this could is the key word. You notice it's on all models. This could lead to a colder back third of November. Okay, so that is going to be something we're going to have to talk about down the road. But in the 8 to 15 day as of today, it's warm. It's very warm, pretty much region-wide. The exception, our friends in Florida and our friends on the West Coast, a little bit cooler than normal. But also worth noting is the week 2 pattern gets wetter again. So it's a dry week 1, but notice the European and the Canadian get wetter. The GFS is a little drier, but even it is starting to get a little bit wetter too. And if you look at the 10 to 15 day, you can see it's even wetter still. So towards the middle of the month, I would anticipate wetter conditions returning. Rain or snow, we'll figure that out as we get closer, but definitely heading in the warmer direction, but also the wetter direction in that week 2 time frame. That's the 11th through the 17th of November. Lastly, the MJO is pointing us in where we're going. We're in phase 2 right now. We're going into 3, 4, 5, and 6 as we head into the middle of the month. What does that mean? Well, phase 2 is cold. Phase 3 is warm, which we're going to see next week. But then as you get into phase 4, see how the progression starts to get cooler again in the northwest as we shift the pattern once again. And then phase 5, you see it just spread to the east coast. So it's a transient pattern. So it's cold, warm, split, and then split, right? So it's going to be up and down. This pattern we're seeing this week, the cold, not going to last long. The warm pattern next week, not going to last that long. It's a lot of up and down. And that's why when you look at the 14 days put together here, you notice it's cold, but not that cold, right? You know, you look at the difference between the GFS and the European. They're not that different. It's pretty cold in the east, but much warmer in the west. Same deal on the European. And then if you look at those precipitation anomalies, again, maybe the plains get a little wetter, but it's going to be a drier pattern here for a lot of the central and eastern belt. That should help folks at least get some harvesting done here before we freeze it on up. So that's what we got for today. We'll be back tomorrow with more. And if you have questions, just let us know.